I finally got to see Detective Pikachu after an arduous 4 or 5 days of waiting, and I thought it was absolutely goddamn fantastic. I don't know if this is a contentious opinion because I haven't looked at other reviews or videos, nor do I really care. I just want to rant about it because it kind of meant something to me to see this film. For better or for worse, it fits the bill to a T. It's a live-action Pokemon film with realistic-looking Pokemon, and I think it does a pretty great job at balancing the two together somehow. It didn't feel like the human drama outweighed the Pokemon world and vice versa, so I think both the unfamiliar and hardcore players can enjoy it. Honestly, the only real complaint I have about the story is that the journalist girl was pretty over the top and annoying, and not in an endearing way, more of like a stereotypical annoying journalist way. The movie's plot deals more with the mechanical side of Pokemon, not game mechanics necessarily, but like how they can be integrated into a futuristic society. I think it's a pretty interesting and somewhat original take for a Pokemon story, or in other words, it's nice that they didn't just make it about battling. In fact, there's pretty much no real Pokemon battles, as it's justified by its setting, so there are only a few instances of Pokemon actually using their moves. Again, it's more about how they can integrate into society. But the lack of this does leave lots of room for future developments in case they decide to make a sequel. It works fine as a standalone, but I can see how they can keep going with these characters. I guess to sort of break up this part of my script, another sort of complaint is that sometimes Ryan Reynolds gets a little too Ryan Reynolds with his witty one-liners, because literally every time someone opens their mouth, he has to make a hilarious and original comment about it, to the point where half the time he's just stating the obvious and just kind of being an annoying dickhead. I don't dislike the character of Pikachu, it just got kind of old kind of fast. But that aside, the highlights were definitely the more Pokemon-based scenes. I thought the entire Mr. Mime scene was utterly hilarious, as well as the Bulbasaur and the Lickitung. Just any moment the movie focuses on a Pokemon is worth your time. I would imagine some or maybe most people are hesitant on the redesigns of these Pokemon, but I love them. I think it was a bold move that pays off well. I think these redesigns are a good little shake-up to what we know, and was the main reason why I went into this with any expectation of taking it seriously. Because if it was just live-action footage mixed with the game's sprites, it might as well have just been a direct-to-Cartoon Network bullshit film for absolutely nobody. And yeah, the designs do look off-putting sometimes, but that comes with the territory. Charizard is a big fire-based reptile. He's supposed to look scaly and intimidating. He's a fucking dragon! And the best thing about the Pokemon in the movie is that they cover every generation. Emphasis is placed on the original 151 for the sake of nostalgia, but it was great to see Greninja have a pretty major role, and the scene with Torterra was pretty mind-blowing, to be honest. Of course, I'm most upset that Fennekin was not present, but it's fine. I'm used to being left out. The one thing though is that while they dump a lot of Pokemon on screen in many instances, as the movie went on, I realized there wasn't actually that much variety with this species. There's lots of crowds full of people in Pokemon, except each time it felt more and more like the same crowd with the same Pokemon, as if Sneasel and Growlithe are just the starter Pokemon in Rhyme City. I understand the animators' plight. It was probably hard enough to make as many Pokemon as they did, so I don't want to take away from the effort put into this. Really, I think this movie looks great and I appreciate how much care they put into it. It's just something I would hope or even expect to be improved upon if they make a sequel. But fuck that, let's complain some more! There was a line when Ryan Reynolds said Greninjas. The plural form of all Pokemon is just Pokemon. They don't say people in Pokemon zzz, one Greninja, many Greninja. Lux, who cares about the grammatical accuracy of a Pokemon movie, you might say? I do! This is important! Real fans should know this! Also, they keep saying, oh god and oh my god, but also Ryan Reynolds says, sweet mother of Arceus, at some point. First of all, it's Arceus, and second of all, does that confirm Arceus is god and everyone knows it, or are they separate deities? I want consistency, god damn it! Anyway, the reason why I want to talk about this is because it feels like everything just sucks nowadays. Franchises are being milked for profit without any care for quality, long-awaited products fail to live up to the hype, beloved series are getting butchered by these soulless remakes or disfigured into live-action abominations. I personally question the current state of Pokemon. There are still good things coming out of it, sure, but not from the most important people. I feel like the main games are dropping in quality pretty rapidly while most people seem to be content with that somehow. And so the series isn't trying to innovate or impress, and it keeps aiming at a group of people who have stopped caring a long time ago. Detective Pikachu made me really happy that it didn't fall into these holes. It challenges fans with new ideas while embracing the old, the wondrous and fantastic, the charm the series holds on to. It felt like a group of people actually gave a shit about not just making a good movie, but a good Pokemon movie. It did what I feel even the main games fail to do nowadays. Respect its audience, not just by putting out a respectable product, but by actually acknowledging that people like Pokemon from beyond Gen 1 as well. Maybe it's because I didn't have any particular expectations for this that I enjoyed it so much, and at the end of the day, it's not as if anything blew me off my feet. I didn't get all that attached to the characters, they were just passable. The story had some interesting twists, but didn't really go into much depth, and I never quite cared all that much about it. It was just a fun ride. Maybe me being this enthusiastic for something that's just pretty good overall is a sign of how weak I feel about most things now, but even still, I'm just glad this movie is as good as it is. That's all I have to say. I have another video already written out. I've just been busy editing podcasts lately, but it'll probably come out within a week, so yippee. Also, the channel just celebrated its first birthday, so that was cool, and I got second place in a Reddit contest, apparently. Alright, thanks. I appreciate it. It's been exciting, and I think year 2 is going to be really interesting for me. So, thanks for watching. Toot-a-roo, motherfuckers.